You can start the show now if you wish.
All right. Well, I can start the show now. And whoever held on to watch, thank you for holding on. I love you too, my precious wife. I love you. I love you. You know what I'm saying? That's right. That's right, Beans. We got sound. So yeah, we back to this Push the Rock podcast. Push the Rock podcast, episode 2. I used to be Quando Rondo. I gotta get focused up real quick. The enemy just tried to stop what's inevitable to happen. So, yeah. We talking about I used to be like Quando. Why is it doing it? Yeah, so this week's podcast is talking about I used to be Quando Rondo. And, you know, before some people at my age range might not know who Quando Rondo is. I'm pretty sure a lot of young people in their 20s and teenage, even early 30s probably know. It's a rapper out of Savannah, Georgia. He's about 23 now, but I got hip to him when he was about 19. And yeah, he's been very controversial lately since 2021. He's gang affiliated, has a connection with he's a Savannah, but he's a proclaimed rolling 60s Crip. And you know, he's been really controversial lately. And I got hip to him a few years back. I think my daughter Jemiah, she wanted me to hear something from him, and I'm like, oh yeah, he tight. And which made me I was just going through YouTube one day, and I watched one of his interviews, and he was just talking, man. He was talking about his gang affiliation, talking about why he rap, how he came up, what he been through, and everything like this. I'm like, oh yeah, dude, tight. Like he sound nice. I mean, you know, me being older, I'm like, well, and growing up, I'm like, in the stage of my life, I was like, he really ain't talking about nothing, but you know, he sound good. You know what I'm saying? So I was just more so like, yeah, you know, he was dope as far as being creative and his the way he rapped, and he does that new genre of rap where they sing and they rap, that type thing. So I was liking little dude. Then like in 2021, I don't know the backstory behind all the beef, but him and another famous rapper from Chicago named King Von had got into it down there in Georgia, and King Von passed away behind that altercation. Got shot by one of Quando Rondo's affiliates, and so that was controversy. And you know, these new age rappers, this drill scene, they going back and forth. And you know, Quando Rondo was out in LA, and where the gang that he claims originally hails from, the Rolling 60 Crips, and he's been in and they got this thing where you got to check in, and supposedly they have been saying Quando Rondo hadn't checked in, but he was hanging out in LA. And just about 3 weeks ago, unfortunately, another one of his affiliates got killed. And you can watch on the news clip. I wish I would have used sound bites, but for not getting striked on YouTube purposes, we ain't used it. I ain't bring it up, but you could always go look it up. Quando Rondo affiliate gets shots in LA. He gets shot there in the truck together. They get set up at the gas station. Some guys jump out another vehicle. Some guys jump out of vehicle. They get shot up. His homeboy die. As you can see, the paramedics and the police pull up on the scene. Quando Rondo jumps out the car, frantic, seeing that his homie is dead. He's almost screaming, screeching, crying. No, man, no, and just in shock and disbelief that he watching his homeboy die dead right in his face. So, I followed it a little bit, and then it got to about a couple days later. We got the internet. He tweeted, "Hey, I'm not in the game. I'm separating myself from the gang because I feel betrayal. Why am I claiming this gang and I can't even get, I can't even get protection, or they not even ride with me." And then, the term backdoor was also from other people and outside sources, backdoors to, to backstab somebody, basically saying that he was backstabbed by the gang that he was claiming, and he renounced the gang. And he got a lot of flack, from people that's way older than him, that's been a part of that gang culture, saying he can't do that and he got to come get beat up off the set. And it was just deep, man. From that interview, what I think about that interview way back then, I was like, man, when I was listening to him talk, I was just like, man, he's so lost. He's so broken. He's so out of touch with reality. And just like many of us from the ghetto or urban areas that grew up in broken families, and when I say broken, I mean, single parent, no parents, living with your grandma, things like that, coming up in impoverished situations, no daddy in the house, no big brothers, or big brothers, they already out and they in the game. You know what I'm saying? No real leadership. And all you got is a mama or a grandma or a granddaddy that can only give you the little bit of what they got, especially if you live in a house with more than one child or more than two kids. Sometimes in those situations, it'd be a house full of people at grandma's house. Because the mamas and daddies is dope fiends, it just be crazy, man. So a lot of people, they look for identity, they look for comfort in these gangs. And I said I used to be Quando Rondo because, hey, same thing with me. I ain't have a big brother. Now, I didn't have a lot of people in my house. I only had a little brother, but me and my mama, we constantly moved neighborhood to neighborhood to neighborhood to neighborhood to neighborhood. And then I might have left a year or so to go live with my father down in Atlanta. And but when I came back, it was back to the regular program. And in these neighborhoods I lived in, the gang culture was becoming prevalent. And I lived in this neighborhood called, when I left, see, I like to say I'm either from Evanston or Walnut Hills. When I left, I was living in Evanston. I was in Evanston from kindergarten to 6th grade, minus 7th grade year, because I moved to Atlanta. Then when I came back, what's up, Clarence? Blessings. But then when I came back from Atlanta, I moved back to a neighborhood that's like connected to the last neighborhood that I lived in, and that was Walnut Hills. So I still used to go back and hang in Evanston because I didn't know nobody in Walnut Hills. But then, living where you live at, you eventually just start hanging where you live at. And so, I had to go get my brother from this rec center called Evanston Center. And one day I was approached by some guys. Now at this time I'm totally oblivious, even after seeing boys in the hood. I'm still oblivious to the gang culture. And I'm walking and I had a hat on and somebody told me you got your hat to the left. And they approached me like turn your hat. And they was bigger than me. It was mad of them. It was a girl with them. And they approached me brolic and I was like turn my hat from the left. So I just straightened my hat off and I was scared. I was shook. Like, man, what they on? Like, I didn't even know what they was. I was oblivious. Like, I did not know what they was talking about. So that was in Evanston, and that was about a organization, a gang called the GDs. You know what I'm saying? That's when I found out about that, but I still was oblivious. I still didn't know nothing. They was throwing up their signs and talking about with this and keep your hat straight and you got your hat and turned to the wrong side in this neighborhood. And I was like, all right. And I went and got my little brother and I was just like, whoa. Like, and so, you know, time goes on, you know, I'm becoming more mischievous, bad at school, still trying to adjust back because my daddy, in the short time I was with him, he installed stealed a lot of things. I got a lot of more confidence than before when I left Cincinnati. I was brave. I wasn't much of a fighter before I left. I had that because I had a big brother when I got a big brother here in Atlanta. So sports, everything, I just was different. I was a little bit better as far as being a little more masculine and not timid when I came back. But that encounter with that gang at that time, I didn't know what they was talking about and still oblivious. So then I was hanging in one of the hills and halfway hanging in Evanston. Something happened in Evanston with the same gang that approached me, and somebody got killed. A young guy got killed, and next thing you know, the gang that approached me got outlawed by another gang. And they wore red, the Bloods. Their whole neighborhood. I don't know how, because now that I know I'm more knowledgeable with the gang stuff, but I don't know how that turned them to Bloods. But everybody from Evanston, Nuwana Hills was Bloods. This was the first round of Bloods that I have ever seen, and I got jumped by some Bloods one day over a BB gun. They came over to my homeboy house. And they was little guys. I knew them though. Like they wasn't Bloods at first. I mean, I really knew these little guys. We played hoop. They was from the projects, and I was sometimes I had a couple of friends in the projects that I used to hang with because I lived right in front of the projects, and so I started hanging. I was hanging sometimes in the projects, but I lived on the street right outside the projects. So, you know, that day they came up to my homeboy, and like I said, I got blessed. So, you know, I mean, I got a little braver, and like I said, my daddy living with my daddy and my big brother. Like I wasn't no sucker no more. Like I mean, I ain't saying I was a sucker when I was little, but I was a little timid. So
you still a sucker.
Yeah, sounds like somebody's hating. So, you know, just think about back then. It was crazy because that first time when they approached me when I was getting my brother from the Evanston Center. They was GDs. They was folks, and I didn't know what that meant. And they told me turn my hat from the left to the right, or if you ain't down with this rocket straps, turn my hat straight. Or I turned it to the back, whatever I did. And I was like, all right, cool. And so, because it was mass of them, and they was way bigger than me, and they had a girl. I just got to keep emphasizing that they had a girl. That was gangster.
If you got a girl in your crew, you official.
you official if you got a girl in your crew. That's the thing back in the day. So. Anyway, like I said, like the next summer that flipped. Now somebody got killed by the same gang that approached me in Evanston, and now they all was wearing red, and there was Bloods, and they came in my homeboy yard one day talking about a BB gun, and these guys I knew them before they was so called claiming this blood stuff, saying they was Bloods or Pyrus or whatever they is, and they came in and I wasn't going. I'm like, nah, they ain't got none of y'all. They don't even steal and get out the yard. And they start throwing up their gang signs then. And I'm like, man, whatever. And I ended up fighting one of them. For my homeboys, even though my homeboys rented the house on me and their mama told them to get in the house. even though it was their problem, I was defending them. They went in the house on me, and I stood out there and got down. And so after I got down, I left. I got down, I left, and I went home, and I was salty, and I was lumped up, and I called Rico. I think Rico was the first person I called, and I told him I got jumped. And I forget what he asked me, like, what was I gonna do? I don't remember, but it was a very short conversation. But I was boiling. I'm like, man, I can't keep letting this go down like this.
I live too far away to come to your rescue.
So I'm like, I can't get down like this, man. I can't keep letting this go. So anyway, long story short, I found out about another gang that was opposed to the Blood gang, and it was Crips. And I took on that identity, and I went back through the neighborhood and through the schools, and I started recruiting people. And I'm like, man, this is what I'm Cripping. And that's opposed to the neighborhoods that I grew up in. That's totally opposed. I'm talking about from one end to one end. They all Bloods. And I came through and I said, I'm a Crip. And I went to another neighborhood called Avondale, and I started recruiting them dudes. And I'm like, yeah, this what we doing. And, you know, I brought them back to the hood, and they seen me come back with that kind of style. And some of them changed from Blood, and they got down with me. And I went bananas from there, from then on in. But I say I used to be Quando Rondo because I see a lot of, a lot of just lostness, and I was just lost, man. Like I didn't have anything to push me in the direction of writing. I ain't had no big homies or nobody to tell me like, nah, this ain't what you do. And I had to go from what I was learning and what I was seeing on TV and what I was watching. I was so mad and so scared and so hurt that this the second time these gang dudes done approached me, and I ain't know nothing about it. And then so once I started tapping into that, I was hanging in different neighborhoods. I was introduced to, my guy introduced me to the Rolling 30s. You know what I'm saying? That's a gang from California, but I guess, you know, just like they adopted it down here. And, you know, I said I was down with my guy. We was hanging out downtown Cincinnati for a summer, and I adopted it. And I'm like, yeah, I'm a Rolling 30 Crip, and, you know, and start rolling around with my guy. And it ain't like he put me on. I just put myself on, like, you know what I mean? And kind of went from there, man. And you know, created my own lane. And so by the time the school year stopped and I came from downtown, I done already rounded up the guys and got a few people that I was cool with, because, you know, I was a likable guy. I was funny. And so, you know what I'm saying? We was cool. Like, I wasn't really the tough guy, but I wasn't no sucker. And so we got cool, and I became creative with that invention, with that idea of gang banging. And as the more I hung around people, the more I started getting hip to the culture. I started learning the rules and the regulations, and as much as I could learn about what it was to be the gang that I was claiming, the gang that I was a part of. And so we started gang banging. And, you know, we had rules, and we made our rules, and we went by our rules. And, you know, we was just doing a lot of foul stuff, mostly violence, beating up people and robbing people. And, you know, then it seemed like soon as now remember I told you, at first I got approached by some GDs, and then they flipped because somebody got killed and they turned Blood. So both the neighborhoods that I come from is Blood. But as soon as I brought in the Crip stuff, man, it went crazy. I mean, I was off the chain. I'm talking about I turned into something that I didn't know that I can turn into. I mean, even nowadays, I'm in my 40s, and people would see me like, man, you was a super Crip back in the day. And I just be laughing like, yeah, man, that ain't me no more. But yeah, man. So a lot of people in this process, man, got hurt. Some people died, and a lot of people went to jail, including myself. Like I was really controversial, man. I was controversial, man. I had like made, back in those days, you couldn't be broadcasted on the news if you were a minor, but the things that I did made the news, the headlines 2 or 3 times. And one time was for, we jumped on this guy and almost killed him and put him in a coma. And just a couple years ago, man, it was a blessing, man. I got to see that guy, and I really went to that guy, and if he would have knocked me out or did something to me, it didn't even matter, man. I just went to him and I apologized to him. I never got a chance to tell him that I was sorry and I apologized, and that was just wrong. And I was young, and I just felt it in my heart. I went and hollered at him like, bruh, man, you know what? Back in the day, I was on some bully stuff, bruh, and I was wrong. And man, listen, I'm sorry, man. I apologize. Because that coma, man, even now to this day, it left a lasting effect on that guy, man. It left a lasting effect on his motor skills, but he can't comprehend. He ain't like slow or nothing. But you know how you knew somebody and you could tell something's off and different about him.
How long was he in the coma?
I don't even remember. I know I went to jail for about 3 months, so I don't know. I don't know how long he was in a coma, but
he was in a coma longer than you.
Yeah, he was in a coma longer than me.
And you know how long you suffered.
Yeah, I mean, I just started.
So imagine.
Yeah, I just start getting my faculties back in my 30s.
Right.
So, yeah, man, I seen him and I apologized to him and I told him I was walking with the Lord now, and I just and I prayed with him. Mm-hmm. And I told him, I said, man, I love you, bro. Like, I shouldn't have never did that. And then I had another incident where I went up to the school with a gun like a maniac. See, with gangs, they supply you with guns. Mm-hmm. And so I had a little homie. I ain't gonna put his name out there, but I had a little homie back in the day. He somehow always was coming up with guns. And one day he wanted to be in my gang. And I put him in the gang. He said, all right, I got the guns. He brought me a few guns. And, I had just got finished getting into it with some guys from Evanston and on the gang stuff. You know what I'm saying? And, back then we had pagers, and we had the pagers with the voicemail. And I had such a crazy sounding voicemail with all the gang antics on it. And they was leaving me a lot of messages. Like, it was crazy because I was messing with this girl, and I guess I broke her heart, and then she gave all in my pager number, and now they call my pager. And so they call my pager, leaving messages. And me, big bad with we gonna see. I'm coming up to the school because I was expelled for gangbanging, fighting another a Pyru of blood in school, a big known Pyru of blood, and we got into it. I fought him, and we both got I know I got expelled for sure, and I got expelled, and so I couldn't go up to the school. They don't come up to the school, like, and they was talking, and I said, I'm gonna come up there and we gonna see about that. So one morning I got so high, cause see from that gang fight, I had got my tooth chipped real bad. It was bad, and I was in pain, so I was taking pain medicine. We used to drink back in the day. We used to drink St. Ives. Oh, just gangster though. We thought we were too okay.
St. Ives was horrible.
Oh my God, we was drinking St. Ives with the fruity Saint. What was the
special brews? Yeah, we was lame.
Drinking special brews, man,
thinking we was cool.
Smoking beaties and blunts. And one day I got so high, I took about 4 pain pills. I don't even know what they was. They might have been perks. I don't know what they was. I know I got them from a grown person. Well, one of my gang members, one of my friends, stole it from their mama room and said, "Man, my mama take these for pain." And I took them, and I drunk a 40 or something, and I drunk a 40. I drunk a 40.
That sounds so crazy.
That sound crazy.
Hmm.
And then
That's not okay.
hold on, y'all. Man, how foolish I was. Then I drunk a 40 and I went up to the school, and kids in class, I knew they was blood. I knew a few of them was bloods, and they was poking their head out the window and they was talking. And I ain't had no plan of attack or nothing. I just pulled out my gun. I just pulled out my gun and discharged the firearm on school grounds in the windows. And then, like I said, I just want to say I did the dumbest thing ever. I ran. I didn't have a car. I ran and jumped on the city metro bus. And it was at a layover, but I already knew it had a layover, and it was the only one there, so I was waiting on it to pull up. And
wait. Hold on. Wait. This is 25 years later. Hold on. 25 years later, you mean to tell me you jumped on a bus that wasn't moving?
I jumped on a bus. It was supposed to be moving, but it didn't move. I didn't know the bus. I didn't know the bus company's computer with Katie with the police.
Wow.
It never pulled off. I'm saying it must be at a layover. It'll be gone in a couple minutes. And it didn't move. And then I was like, I'm about to get on about this bus, and I never made it off that bus. They come on there with pumps. They came on there with pumps and 12 gauges and. Yeah, then I went to the youth center. Mm-hmm. But my whole thing is the reason why I want to bring this up, man, because being broken, coming up broken, not having leadership, not having the proper guidance, you latch on to the wrong things. I always thought to myself, I didn't like the gang. I didn't like the gang stuff, but you can't beat them, join them.
Right.
But I had to be so different that I ain't riding with it. Because eventually I hung and then I was adopted into the projects. I was a project boy, but I was a Crip too. You know what I'm saying? So I was adopted. They had, they had love for me. Juana Hills had love for me. And I really stopped the main people that I grew up with. I stopped really being up there in Evanston. I started being in Juana Hills more. But it's like the same neighborhood. It's like really almost the same neighborhood. But I started to rock with them. But I went to jail. And I went to jail. And when I went to jail, they gave me a long sentence because of my ridiculous crime. Mm-hmm. The people's lives I put in danger, brandishing that weapon, firing that gun into the school atmosphere. And they gave me a juvenile life, I believe. And while I was in there, first off, I didn't turn into Quando. I didn't denounce my gang yet. I was in there. I just didn't go through there because I didn't want to go to the gang unit. So I never really but they already had me on gang files. But when they asked me what gang I was in, I used to be like, I ain't in no gang. And so when I got to the reception center, I lied out top, I ain't in no gang. Right? But I hadn't denounced the gang yet. It wasn't until I was in there about 90 days, 4 months, and I realized that I ain't heard from nobody. Ain't nobody wrote me a letter. So my first thing, I got mad at the gang. Mm-hmm. I got mad at the gang that I started, that I led, and said, you know what? I don't need no gang. I'm a one-man army. I don't need no gang. And that was just, so I definitely just start little by little denouncing it. Like, man, I ain't, I felt betrayed. Like, they ain't here for me. Like, and then later on, down to that sentence.
But can I ask you a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Was you writing people in jail, sending letters?
I think yeah.
Okay, that's all I wanted.
Yeah, a few people.
But was you writing everybody since you was the leader?
Man, I ain't writing nobody. I ain't know nobody address.
Right. And you mad that they ain't writing you?
I was 16 for God's sakes. Whose address did I know for real? But yeah, but see, look how ridiculous your thinking is as a teen, like as a wild and outrageous, incorrigible, misled, lost youth. Look at how crazy your mind be. Like, I wouldn't. I created my own crew of friends. I just did everything, man. I was wilding, man. You know, I didn't really understand the type of danger that I was putting me and my guys into, man. We was really out there. At one point, I told you some people got killed behind this thing. At one point, it was so serious, man. Like I was the gang bangers most wanted. Like everybody was looking for Scooby. Everybody I'm the artist formerly known as. Everybody was looking for super cripped out, loped out. You know what I'm saying? School. They wanted his head. I was the prize. And you know, I even had jealousy from within the gang circles that I run with, because you know, back then, like I said, we really ain't know about the culture down there in California. We just was following what we seen on movies, TVs, and what we heard. But we had never really been down there, really thinking out of emotions. Right. Really know what it was, but we just knew Crips wore blue. You know what I'm saying? And we know Bloods wear red. And I know them dudes that jumped me, they wore red. And I don't care what I'm gonna get them back. And I'm gonna show them that I got somebody about me, because I ain't had no big brothers and no cousins that'll come through. And you know, only person I remember that'll fight for my whole family is my Uncle Kiki, and he was in the joint. So like I ain't had nobody that I could just. My brother lived in Atlanta, so I ain't had nobody I could reach.
Just to be clear, he had me, but we lived like three neighborhoods apart, and we went to different schools at this time, because we had plenty of Royal Rumble. We had some Royal Rumbles. Well, I did have your back, so don't never be sitting up here on the internet
Rico,
talking about I ain't had nobody.
Rico talking about, I called Rico. He said, "Oh, so what you gonna do?" what I'm gonna do?
Nah, but you're right. You didn't have me, because I wasn't with the gang. I wasn't with the gangbang. I actually made fun of you. But so you wouldn't have. So you're right. I like, you wouldn't even call me about no gang business, because I would have been like, nigga, if you don't get out of here. Okay.
But then I wasn't in the gang yet. This is what sparked me out to get in the gang, when the Bloods jumped me. Allegedly they were Bloods then, but some of them jumped in my gang. Mm-hmm. So allegedly the Bloods then that jumped me.
Yeah.
And I was like, ain't no way I'm about to be down with them. They crazy. And
plus Snoop was a Crip.
Yeah, and you know, that was my role model.
All the coolest rappers that we liked, they was Crips. So if I would have been a gangbanger, I would have been a Crip, just off of hip hop.
Right. So yeah, man. So
but I was a different type of stupid. I wasn't that. I wasn't that.
Did you just call me stupid to my face?
We was both stupid. I was a different brand of stupid. Bro.
So I collected my few people up, and we got busy like that. And for the most part, man, the first few gang members that I adopted into my gang, they was good kids. Like, I don't even know. Just because we hung together, we was already crew. They had to be a part of the gang. So, you know, man, it just got crazy, and man, it spiraled out of control, man. That gang still exists to this day, man.
Wow.
It still exists to this day. They done changed up, and they didn't really got serious about it. They didn't change the name and everything, but the core foundation of the people I know in that gang are still gang banging. I just want to say, man, I feel like I was delusional
Yeah.
when I was gang banging.
Mm-hmm.
I really thought that I was a gang member. I'm not. I'm not in the gang. I'm not affiliated with any gang. It's Christ gang. It don't bang. I'm telling y'all that right now.
Right.
I like blue. That's my favorite color. But no association to that. Like I'm not no gang banger. So we don't gotta think about it. I'm a grown man and I'm a man of God. I'm a follower of Christ in the way that he roll. But
So first we want to, but hold up, we want to pause and let y'all know if anybody do want to come up, the link is in the description um on my page, on the Crown of Glory page, and I'm about to put it on YouTube. I tried to put it on yours, but I couldn't get to it.
well it should if you put it hold on, let me see. Well, inbox it to me.
I did, but it wouldn't. It didn't show up on your phone.
It wouldn't let you inbox it to me. The link.
Oh, you said inbox.
Yeah, inbox it to me.
Talk to me nice.
So yeah, man. I mean, we did a lot of stuff, man. It used to be this. We used to go to skating parties. We used to be in there gang banging. All the little parties and events that was we was gang banging, throwing up signs, going to different neighborhoods, man. Just being, you know, what we thought what it was. Banging, throwing up signs.
My bad.
You know, just a lot of mayhem. I don't particularly when I get out for real. Before I totally denounced it, I had this thing in jail that I was by myself, right? And I was just like, I'm in here by myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm in here by myself. So ain't nobody helping me, bro. I don't need, and I felt like, man, I could hold it down on my own. I don't need a gang. And it just gave me, I had my identity for myself had started changing like that. Like, as far as like, I don't need no gang.
Right.
I don't need no gang. Like, I'm cool. Like, but you know, just from that, but it still was residue from it because some of those people that I gang banged against, like some of my love, like I'm telling you, in the neighborhood, we went to elementary school, we went to junior high and high school together. Like, that was my guys, and it felt silly, like us being around each other. And I was a Crip and they was Bloods. It just felt stupid. Like, but you know, and if I had to get down, I never really fought none of my friends. I always got down with one of they boys because I'm like, nah, I ain't gonna. We like, this is how crazy it was back in them days. Like, this is how the culture was. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I had friends that flip flop gangs. You know what I'm saying? That was crazy too. I'm about to send this link out.
I just did.
All right, everybody. You got it on my page too? So yeah. Oh, who is that? My man.
What's good, my brother?
What's up, baby?
Are you no cool while they folding?
You got something you can add to this conversation? I know you do, man.
I mean, well, man, like, I mean, I experienced it myself, and as far as what you're saying with the being misled and the delusional and all that stuff, man, just really stem from a sense of needing to belong or want to belong or, protection, you know what I mean? And things like that. And just to really acknowledge, because I know you, you know what I'm saying, from, different stages of life. Like, so appreciating the fact that you can, you know, even be up here telling the story on the other end of it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and how many of us didn't make it, you know what I mean, to even be able to acknowledge or maybe possibly create a platform or impart some wisdom on, younger guys who might feel that same sense of need for belonging or protection or, realizing like something like that ain't necessarily the best route.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, if anything, to grow from your experiences to like through sharing the wisdom.
Yep. So can I ask? So as you say that, can I ask you? Can I ask you a few questions?
Yeah, go ahead.
What initially influenced you to join?
Um, Pretty much some of the same, but I think mine was it's still, because how I was never really want to concede to. I never liked conceding to fear like that or even needing someone in that sense. But for me, it was more of a need or a desire for camaraderie. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because like you, I ain't had no big cousin, no, you know what I'm saying? I'm a cool guy, Um, but also that sense of security, like not having to roam alone. Like you get what I'm saying? Like, or like what because really what you suffer from was like what I suffer from, our charismatic personalities. So people are kind of drawn to us by how we carry ourselves and behave. So that can kind of become a a sense of responsibility because of the leadership that you know what I mean? You had the ability to persuade people. You know what I mean? Like that's a power, you know what I mean, that when misused early can, mislead a lot of people. But it really stems from camaraderie and the same thing I think it stems from everybody if it isn't a familial type thing. Um, so yeah, pretty much that.
Yeah, that's dope, man. Yep. And I agree, man. The same thing, bro. Like just being who I was. Like I said, I was funny. You know what I'm saying? I made them laugh. I was cool and I was with whatever. So it was like, you know, but when I found myself in those places of feeling alone and or bullied or outnumbered, it's like, but I had a mind, whereas, well, I had a friend that introduced me to his gang, but I'm like, nah, if I bro with joke, that was so rebellious. That's crazy. I was like, if I join their gang, then I'm gonna have to follow their rules. And I seen one of their guys get violated. And when you get violated, you get punched on and all that. And I'm like,
Yeah, you went with that.
I don't think I'm gonna be letting these guys punch on me because ain't no telling what I'm gonna do to violate them. So let me, you know what I'm saying, stay away from that. So yeah, man, I definitely can relate to that. I got a few more questions I want to ask you if you don't mind.
I'm with it, bro.
So how you feel about the gang culture now? Like,
Oh well, man, I think well, it's crazy because like gang culture now has been even more like I I want to give the correct term, but it's kind of been weaponized against us. You feel me? Like
right.
because gangs in the beginning all stem from that same need to defend ourselves, but from who? From ourselves.
Wow.
You feel me? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so now when you got, I mean, excuse my French, but you got all the loose morality with sexuality and all these same things needing to belong, but not necessarily because of protection, but because of a fad or a trend or a streaming emotion, maybe. You get what I mean? Or a streaming influence for the time being. Because they're not, these things that people are doing aren't really logic based. They stem from a feeling or emotion, which at our age, we realize that emotions and feelings are fleeting. They come and they go. You're hungry until you eat. You feel me? Like, so,
Right.
you know, gang culture now though is, it's all over TV. It's just cool to be in the gang. It's, because it's not even that they have to really protect themselves anymore. We got rappers now that's both got money and they still fighting. And y'all out the ghetto, y'all good, but y'all still fighting. You get what I'm saying? We ain't getting into gangs because we wanted to fight somebody. We got in the gang because somebody jumped on us and we just didn't want to
Yeah,
have to.
we got the
You
gang
get what I mean?
fight nobody. I said, I look. Let me just cut in for a half a second. Man, I was thinking, I was hearing an influencer talk, and I agreed totally what he said, man. He said, man, most of you gang dudes is cowards.
Yeah, yeah,
Mo,
yeah.
mo,
Because they
mo,
feel the need to run you get what I mean? Like,
and they need leadership and they need guidance, and so that's what they lean towards, and that's how I was able to even uh, 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 adopt or bring a lot of guys to the fold that I was running and what I was doing because I knew how they were feeling. Once I was
yeah,
able to run the idea past them, and I had them. Once they was listening past 5 minutes, you was in my game.
And see that being, like I said, to that charisma, and we had a different type of leadership quality. You get what I'm saying? Like, just our intellects. Just we had a different kind of leadership type of quality. So that was the reason why you wouldn't want to join anybody else's thing, or you know what I'm saying, you want to concede to something like that in that sense. But we all had to have something to follow in a sense, because we had no
Right.
structure. You know what I mean? We had no structure. You know what I mean? Or shaky foundation in that sense. Like, so it just, that's what it begets. And it's the same thing going on today. It's just now it's cool. It's a fad. It's trending. It
Let me
gets all over the place.
now this is a question inside the same question. What do you think about somebody that we grew up with? Somebody that we grew up with, 40 plus, 35 plus.
I'm sorry, say that one more time, man.
What are your thoughts on somebody 40 plus, 35 years plus, still adopting to that identity of that gang culture? What do you what runs through your mind when you see people we used to run back with and they still like I could come through certain neighborhoods and they like
Yeah. I know what you're saying.
like what
Well, I mean, if I'm being honest, like, I feel for them, you know, um, first, I want to say I'm not judging anyone. Because if you want to still stay in that type of lifestyle and through your evolution say, hey, I'm gonna use this as an opportunity for me to school young guys who still out here misled, who still out here going through the same things that created our need. But cultivate that and do that in a positive way from the experience of wisdom. I'm all for it. But if you out here wilding and acting and leading a bunch of fools into shenanigans and malarkey, or on the same mind state that we were on back then, I gotta feel sorry for you, because what 30 or 40-year-old man is running around out here misleading or being misled as a 15 or 16-year-old boy? And you have to start to think about mental illness, which plays another part. You know what I'm saying?
ooh,
Like,
I didn't even never thought about that's a mental
you
illness.
know what I'm saying? Like, oh yeah, a lot of niggas that was gangbanging was stupid and strong. You feel me? I mean, not to be like just on some, I mean, we come on, we old enough, we
What
understand,
what
it's the reality of life.
what you say they was stupid and strong?
Now,
Are you,
You breaking up, Trail. You breaking up.
things, but this isn't that conversation. My bad, I'm
I
driving.
take
Now
it back a
we can
minute. You
blame it on
said
many things, but it's
you said hold on, Trail. You said a lot of them stupid and strong, and then what else you say after that?
I said we can blame it on genetics, but that's another conversation. You know what I mean? Like, and that goes deeper than, you get what I'm saying. I mean, you get what I mean. Like, and I ain't saying really stupid in that sense, but when life gives you a label, sometimes you prescribe to it instead of identifying or finding out who you are. You know what I mean? Because it's just what what you know. Like, I've seen people who weren't really handicapped treated like they were handicapped and behave in a handicapped fashion.
Hey
Um,
man.
yeah.
so it's crazy.
So yeah, I be thinking
But
that crazy. I be coming through the hood, and I don't really wear no kind of bright colors, but I'm just like I see them and they still be dipped in red, or I see a Facebook post and they all throwing up signs, and I'm like, they still on that? Man, we was doing that back in '94. Like, oh, we was doing that in '95, '96. Like they still going that, like, and you know what? How does this? How does this? How does this translate to their kids? Because we all got. I'm pretty sure all of them got kids. Like, how does this translate? So that was just something I was interested in. I think I got one more question for you, and it's a question, and it's a question
But
that
before we got that, like that's part of the problem, like, because that translation, you feel me? Like, they seeing that, and when you don't have an example of anything else, it's kind of hard to break free. You know what I mean? Especially with all these other different, avenues to take that people generally follow based off of feeling and not logic.
yeah, definitely, man. I got one more for you.
That's all.
Okay. What would you say to somebody trying to join the gang today?
Oh, I would say first of all, don't do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, think about it. You know what I mean? The repercussions and possible consequences, because they will be following in the footsteps of many a fool, including me and you, who learned later in life. So one of my things is teach them early what you learn late. So I'm just kind of and we'll try to tell them about, like you said in the joint, you was betrayed. Where was these niggas at? But you didn't have the fortitude or the understanding to even be that because you were a child yourself. So it's a whole bunch of illusion and misguidance and emotional circles that if you had more men in your life to tell you to think about it instead of feel about it, you might make better decisions.
Mm.
Because decisions come from thought. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, well, decisions don't necessarily, good good decision making is thought out. I'll put it like that. You get
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, but it's a lot of that. So I would follow themselves. Like, you your own gang, like you said. But not say that out of a sense of a resentment or a feeling towards anybody, but out of pure sheer fact. You are your own gang. You are your own nation, essentially. You know what I'm saying? Inside yourself. What you do with that is what you do with that. You know what I mean? Because you can band together some brothers for a good and say, hey, we a clique. We ain't a gang. We just make sure that we got each other's back. It ain't got to be no foundation of against this or against that, but for something. You
Um,
know what I mean? Like
that,
I tell you, like, God, like, I want everything for you and none from you.
right.
It ain't no intention of taking none. I'm happy to see you grow. I feel honored to be a part of the process, and that's enough. Like, you get what I'm saying? But when you seen enough, man, you learn the price versus value, and the price they pay for joining that life. It it ain't worth it in the long run. You know what I mean? That's why we just on this side saying like how foolish it was and how ignorant it was. And for anybody, even if they slid for you in this, that, and the third situation, we all know the the consequences in the end for most gang bangers or people in gangs. You know what I mean? And if they really doing something nowadays, they gonna get 60 and go on Vlad and snitch on everything. Or they being held like, game ain't the same. It's so many. Don't do it. I say don't do it. I'll help you. How can I support you, young man? That's what I say to him. You
Right.
feel me? Brother to brother. Show 'em a way that's genuine and positive and that truly desires to inspire growth, just to help lead away from that shenanigans. Because sometimes people don't see a way outside of the ways that are shown to them. So you got to kind of be an example. And we all have that responsibility. You know what I mean? Like, because we know better. That's
Right.
the burden of knowledge. You know what I mean? Like,
Man, I appreciate you, bro, for coming on, man.
oh no, man, I got you, man. I got to pop up more for you, man.
That's valuable, man. I love you, man. Hey,
Yeah,
almost
definitely.
almost
Definitely.
everything that I've been a part of, you've been a part of, even if you was a
Yeah.
silent partner, man. You my guy. I love you. Hey, man, thanks for coming on, bro. That was, this my man. Give it to my man, Darrell Kelly.
Yeah.
D Trail, the Fonz, aka. We call him the Fonz because he real good, cooler than the leather jacket the Fonz had on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I got
You
one in the back right now. I'm contemplating it.
All right.
you you ain't gotta, you can stay on the string. You ain't gotta. School kind of like
Not,
it made it
not,
seem like you
not,
was exiting. Like,
nah,
nah.
nah, 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 nah.
Nah, yeah, I got it. I appreciate it.
Nah,
I ain't going nowhere, man. I'm just,
nah.
you about to hit this little Reds game.
Nah, I see. Nah, what it was, I seen my brother Milt. You know what I'm saying? I seen him tap in, and
What's going on?
What up, great Bambino?
you know what I'm saying? I just would love, to see what he had for us today.
Oh, I didn't really have much. I was just dropping in to say what's up. First off, all glory to God. You know what I mean?
Yes,
That's
sir.
the first off. You know what I'm saying? But nah, it was a real good conversation. So, I thought I'd jump in. I don't really have much. I
Okay.
don't,
Just anything you could add, that's great.
Uh, well, I definitely had a similar background, and we were on on that same trajectory, and I had some some revelations, if you will, being in youth services. When you go in there, no one's writing you, no one's sending you any commissary, anything like that. It's it is a lot of just illusions, but I think, like, for myself, I really got in it for power.
Mm.
I mean, that was really it, to be honest with you. Watching my dad at a real early age, like, we would my dad had a pool hall, or we'd hit up downtown at Evanston, and how people talked to him and respected him. I wanted that. I wanted to be like my dad. I wanted to be respected. So I thought that was a great opportunity, and it was funny you say, you got to be a real recruiter to run a gang. It's so much manipulation in it. All you doing is giving them the benefits.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. None of the consequences.
None of the consequences.
Yeah.
You're going to tell them, man, you're going to be protected. All the girls like us. What? You want to hustle? We got that. The world is yours.
Mm-hmm.
Because you understand the strength is in numbers. And the more people you gain, the more it becomes popular, just the more people are going to come. Yeah. For me, it was more of just a power trip, just a fake power trip. But I think for a lot of people, I think everyone has a natural, they want to have a purpose, mm-hmm. right? Because I think we're supposed to serve God. That's our purpose. But we have that feeling of purpose inside of us. Mm-hmm. It's just a lot of times that we find our purpose in other ways. Like, what child or teenager or even adult, for that matter, doesn't want to be congratulated or say that they're good at something, mm-hmm. or different things of that nature. A lot of folks that join gangs, these are individuals from broken homes. Just like you said, I'm not going to call anybody stupid, but they may have not been as successful in school. They're not good at anything, right? But you can get into the criminal life, right? Mm-hmm. Like, you knock somebody out. Now, you guys have been on the street. Somebody get knocked out. What's the reaction to everybody on the street?
He a knockout artist.
Everybody screaming, congratulating them. They joking about it. Now you praise. Now you got a purpose. Mm-hmm. Now you got a purpose to move. And I think a lot of times that's why people are joining gangs. They're joining for a purpose, and it's just the wrong one. I think for me, it was at an early age, I started seeing how dumb it was. Mm-hmm. to be honest with you. One, and this is back then, but I wanted to make money. Mm. Right. So my thought process was like, me fighting people, that ain't, me fighting and shooting and robbing and different things of that sort, like, that ain't really making me no money for real. So that's, I mean, I love to say that, like, the gang life, I got out of it because it just wasn't, it didn't make sense to me, really. But I was watching a video, and man, this guy said the realest thing ever, man. He showed a picture of somebody he rocked with, and the guy was he was paralyzed from the neck down. Mm. Right? And he was saying, like, all these OGs, all these cats on the street, yeah, it's easy to kill somebody for somebody else. Mm. It's easy to put a RIP shirt on. Mm-hmm. You can scream you love this person to death, all this. But when that man that can't wipe his own self when he used the bathroom, when y'all gonna do that? Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
When are y'all gonna pick him up out of his wheelchair at night and put him in bed?
Mm,
Because people don't talk about that.
yeah.
And that's that's not an exception to the rule. That's a common thing, right? There's a lot of people that get shot and they don't die. It's easy to mourn someone and praise someone when they gone. That's easy work. All you put up a post, put up a picture, RIP my homie, we ride. How much you really ride for real?
Mm.
What if he survived that gunshot and he couldn't walk? You gonna go to the grocery store for him every week?
Mm.
Nope.
You know what? You make a good point, Bing, because
Wow.
if you think about it, most victims of like gang shootings and all of that, they don't die.
Mm.
Like think about it. It could be 25 shootings in Chicago, and you say, man, 25 people got shot. You think 25 people got shot and 25 people died. No, only about 6 or 7 of them died. The rest of them didn't die.
Right.
And getting shot just ain't bee sting. Like a lot of people have lasting effects off of this.
Mm-hmm. But guess who's rehabbing that person?
The family,
The mom,
or nobody,
the baby mom, or no one.
mm-hmm.
You know, so the gang or representing a block or like saying that you're gonna kill somebody because they disrespect the street that you live on.
Mm-hmm.
If you really think about it, it's the dumbest thing. And I can say for myself, I was that dumb because there was a short period of time that I can sincerely say I would have died for a gang.
Yeah.
Sincerely, like from the bottom of my heart, I would have full-fledged laid down my life for a bandana. For nothing, for literally nothing.
Yeah. Wow.
So
like I know some people talk it and but I done put myself in plenty of death-defying situations to where I was ready to go. However it would have went. And the saddest part about it is I would have thought I would have been like imagine how they would have looked at me when I was gone. 14 years old, It's sad. Like I think, like I said, you fighting for a purpose that ain't even there for real.
So I want to ask you two things, but
what up, Alan?
What's up, brother Alan? So I want to ask you two things. Hey, did you? Because I'm see, you just like me. You're a man who's God has let you have many different faces in life, many different, from the gangs to the hustling to the whatever, yep. Right? The many different faces. But did the gang life have any lasting effects? Like people identify you by that, or see you and still say stuff, or any and not to put out any cases or anything that you might have done to anybody personally, but just has it left any lasting effects on your life, positive or negative?
Both. I'd say the negative is, individuals that really don't know me. Maybe they haven't seen me in 25 years, and they still think I'm, a wild child.
Right.
But that's really minute. That's really rare any time now, because it's just been so long.
Yeah.
I could say like in my 30s, it was really relevant, right? Because I wasn't that far away from what I was doing, but it has super positive effect, because I can't tell you how many times that someone has said something on the lines of, man, I know God is real, boy. If they could change you, whew,
yeah.
I know.
I heard the same thing.
God, I know God real, boy.
Yeah.
You ain't even the same person
at all.
You don't even look the same, So I think it had.
And it's crazy because you got the same access that you had before, but now you can talk them in another direction because you had those conversations too.
Right. And in that realm, I was at the top of the mountain.
Mhm.
So I not only can not only can I tell them, hey, I've been there times 10 more likely to almost anybody I encounter.
Mhm.
So they know if I'm saying it, I seen it from an eagle's eye view because I've been there. I've been up there. So, I think and I get I still get a lot of respect, you know. So, if I'm talking, a lot of times people gonna they're gonna take the time to listen to me. So
Mhm.
I think God gets the glory and is victorious and turns all things to the glory of God. So,
Yeah, definitely.
Hey man, man, you, I love this guy. You know what? On so many facets of life that we've been through, just like I talked about my man guy. Like even if y'all didn't know, my guy was around.
Right.
For real, like he was around. That's my guy, and we'd have been through the monkey. It's the same. It's almost we have we got a lot of differences, but we got a lot of things in similitude together.
Mhm.
And I walk with you after, like when we initially met, it was after I went through that, but you at the same time, it was after you went through that.
Mhm.
And it's like with each part of maturation or different levels, we were walking into sort of the same type of aspects of life, man. So I didn't know you. I didn't know you from the gang culture, but I heard about you.
Mhm.
Like, you know what I'm saying? I didn't know you, but you had a name that was bigger than life. And me also having one, like I heard
Right.
I heard about him, but I don't know him.
Right.
And when I met you and I'm like, I could have never got into it with dude. Like
Right.
Well,
that's crazy.
yeah, that was another thing. I'm
I remember you.
I'm a nice dude. Like, regardless of I don't want to hurt anybody for no reason. Like, that's dumb. Like, people going around just hurting people for no apparent reason.
All
Come
right,
on
man.
now.
And that's my little gang. We was doing a lot. It was
That really wasn't my stilo. It was crazy. Like, 14. They said that there was so many reports of me involved or linked
I got some people
to
want to come in.
linked to things that I was the youngest individual to be labeled a gang lord in the area. You know, I mean, we was definitely active, but if you really sit back and think about it, like, why were we doing it? Like, for what?
And that's what I'm saying. At some point, I lost the purpose of I'm doing this, so I will become the predator, not the prey.
Mhm.
At some point, I forgot that I'm doing this so I could be accepted and have an identity. It just went haywire. Like,
Yeah. I mean, I remember watching, there's been times where like somebody was getting jumped all the time by some cats. I come swarm in. Hey, man, you ain't gotta go through that, man. You wanna come
right,
come join us over here. Matter of
right,
fact, we'll teach you how to stand up for yourself, give
right.
you some confidence,
Oh, you was a super recruiter.
turn them, but but all you doing is you turning kids into killers.
Yeah, yeah, man.
You turning kids into killers, man. And
Well, I
it
just
was I see people now that when you're at that age, most individuals they're just being bad. You know what I'm saying? Like I know some monsters, but for the most part, man, most kids are just kids and they're troubled or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I know folks that are in their 40s right now that if I would have been mature enough, like they were straddling that fence and I helped them come over to that other side that was dark.
Right.
And they gone. They never recovered from it.
Yeah. Wow.
Man, that's heavy, man.
Yeah.
That's heavy. And this man, I pray for Quando Rondo, man.
Definitely.
Like he just, cause I used to be like,
I got a question for you.
yeah, go ahead.
My bad. Go ahead. Finish your thought.
I've been not trying to say this, but it's just a whole lot of purpose.
Mm.
I know you not really like that. Cause I wasn't really like that. I made myself like that. Like Rico been on me since 5th grade. Out of the crew, I was the one that wasn't like my guys ready to go out top fighting and all that. I was the guy. I ain't really had to fight. I had friends that could fight around me. Not that I was just like trying to lead them in a fight for me. I really ain't had no problems because I hung around. And not that I hung with them on purpose because they could fight, but I just happened to have friends that could fight. I wasn't the fighter. I wasn't the guy. Like I didn't have anybody to push me in that direction. You would have to really you have to really do something to me to make me fight. Like take my food. Like, you know,
Yeah.
Like that's what most of my things when people was playing snatchies back in the day, that would be my fights. Doing spitting and doing all that, like, but I really wasn't like you could talk crap to me and I probably just and they be like, oh, he punked you out, and I probably wouldn't even do nothing. Whereas my two best friends, they wasn't Greg and Rico, they was like, no, we gotta fight. It's over. Like it was over like that. So I'm just saying that when I listen to the young boy talk on the interview, I'm like, he don't even know what he doing. He don't know what he doing. And I just heard all the delusion in the conversation, all the perpetry. I just wanted to say that so bad. All the perpetry, all the lying, like it's really is really sad. You know what I'm saying? Won't you come on in, Lamont? But yeah, man, it's really sad. It's sad to see, man, the young brother going through that. And now that you're trying to say that you're not gang, because the social media is so crazy, it's making you be what you don't gotta be that. You got millions of dollars, bro. You didn't even have to make an announcement that you're not in that gang no more. You could have just stopped doing it. And just show people you was different, man. Like, man, I had these questions that I asked you, Beans, and asked my mans. And
let me ask you the question I have for you.
Go ahead.
So, what did you send in the link? While I'm asking you this.
Oh, he just asked.
Yeah. So, how did you handle, or how did you process your son?
Yeah, man. I didn't like it. I still don't like it. I didn't like it then. I didn't like it at one point because I seen exactly what he was doing. And I feel like I understood why, for the same reasons that I did, the delusion, the protection, the wrong idea of perception of people. It's like somebody who gets a gun and always shows his guns out because he thinks he's gonna scare somebody with this picture or with this gun in his hand. Like somebody gonna be scared of you because you got a gun. So I'm gonna always show that I got a gun so they'll stay up off me. That's the point of the game. Like that's how I look. That's how I looked at him, and me knowing my son's personality and knowing him and know how he get down. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, and the things I say to him, I can't even say on the show about that. Like, I can't even say what I say to him because it's very blunt about, like, you know, I talk about them being cowards. You know what I'm saying? Misled. I tell him, hey, they ain't gonna carry your casket, bro. Or that's all they can do for you is carry your casket. They're not gonna pay for your funeral. They're not gonna take care of your mama when you get killed.
They ain't gonna take care of your son.
They ain't gonna take care of your son. So what's the purpose?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm. He's in and out with that. He's not with it no more. He's in and out with it. He's in and out with it that he ain't with it no more. But then you hear him. Then I hear what Bino say, "Thug life till I die." Like then I
Wouldn't it get convenient?
Yeah, in and out with it. And he was telling me like his real loyalty is to the guy that put him on. Like man, I said, man, you can still have that same loyalty and brotherhood with him just being his friend.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to be a gang member to do that. Mm-hmm. You don't have to be a gang member to be loyal. You don't have to be. You can love him just because the things he did for you and the times he was there for you, those were things that friends would do. Mm-hmm. And he didn't have obligation. Now, one of the things is I wouldn't help him. He caught a case or something. I had something to do with a gun or something, and that was between them. Oh, no, he got to help you with that because you went out and did that, and or allegedly had something to do with that. Y'all got to take care of that. Because I told you when you told me that this is what you're doing, I said, don't ask me for no help. I can't help you with that because I'm telling you how it has affected my life. And the things that, like, man, yeah, you need to stay away from that.
Yeah.
And so how I feel and how it resonates, I just keep telling you, man, you grown. You don't be a grown gangbanger. I stopped gangbanging in my teens. You know what I'm saying? I now don't get me wrong. It's still been a growth process, but because I have a large identity in that I created such a character that it's larger than life. It's still people to this day, and I'm in my 40s, still acknowledge me by that guy, or they know me from that, or you know what I'm saying? But a lot more people now say, Scooby be on that guy, Jamar be on, yeah, that's my guy. They know that, but it's still a large amount of people that know me from all the other reckless things that I've done in my life as well. Mm-hmm. And not that I have to live those things down because we know who bear the burdens for those things that I've done in the past. We know Jesus. So, but yeah, I had these questions that I have for everybody.
Hold on, let's see what Alan got. What up, Alan? Okay. I just be taking over people's shows. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Cool.
I'm the real host. It's like, nah.
This is the second time you did it. Rico trying to take over the show.
You know what, though?
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yep.
Okay. You can talk?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, man. I just, what got me on here, Jamal, your testimony. I don't have the testimony that you guys have, but, I've been around a lot of my friends who, quote unquote, attempted to start, gangs in our neighborhood. But, never was the type that wanted to get involved in that lifestyle and stuff like that. But I've seen a lot of my friends made the attempts to, like I said, to get involved in that. And when y'all was talking, man, about the gang life, I think he's not on here. The guy that was on here earlier, mm-hmm. And he was saying that how the system has used gang culture right now to basically destroy the community.
Yeah.
But if you really look at it, man, that spirit has been around since the beginning, beginning of time. I mean, the youth has always had that temptation to get involved in mischievous activity. Because I believe it's Proverbs, excuse me, that's my daughter. Proverbs 1 talk about the street life,
Mhm.
how wisdom cry out in the street, and it would just say, don't let sinners entice you to let me look at it. Said, do not let sinners entice you to okay, hold on, let me say that. How you said that thing? I think it's Proverbs 7:1. I mean 1:7. He said, fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but the fools despise wisdom and instruction. My son, hear the instruction of the father. Forsake not the law of thy mother, for thou shalt be an ornament of grace unto your head, and change about your neck. My son, if sinners entice thee, consent not. If they say, come, let us lay wait for blood, let us lurk privately for the innocent without a cause. Let us swallow them up alive as the grave, and hold, and those that go down into the pit. We shall find precious substance. We shall find our house with spoil. Cast in thy lot among us, and let us all have one purse. My son, walk not in the way with them. Refrain their foot from their path, for their feet run to evil and make haste to shed blood. Surely in vain the net is spread in the sight of any bird, and they lay wait for their own blood. They lurk privately for their own lives.
Mhm.
So are the ways of everyone that is greedy for gain, which taketh away the life of the owners. So with it, wisdom crieth out without she uttered her voice in the streets. And she cried out to the chief places of the concourse of the opening of the gates in the city. And she uttered her words, saying, how long, you simple ones, will you love simplicity and scorners delight in the scorning of fools? And the hate, turn you out at my reproof, and behold, I will pour out my spirit on you, and I will know the words unto you. So when I'm looking at when I was reading that, I was listening to the conversation because I have family members. One of my uncles. One of my uncles was heavy into drugs. A couple of family members heavy into drugs, and I had an uncle that got into the mob, man, and I mean, to this day, he don't. My mom them don't even know if he's alive. The last time my mom said she spoke with him, um, he was running. He was on the run.
Mhm.
Because just to say he wanted to be out of it, got out of it, or what? No, I mean, he was a pimp. He got in. I mean, he was heavy into it, man. I mean, to a point where he couldn't even come back around the family, you know, because of course those guys don't play fair. They want you, they'll get your family.
Mhm.
My grandfather, I think my auntie his auntie had like my grandfather went up to New York and basically she had a purse for my grandfather, meaning a bag for my grandfather.
Mhm.
My mom said money that he left my auntie would have took care at least by 4 or 5 generations.
Mhm.
You know, but my grandfather turned it down because my grandfather was a God fearing man, and he didn't raise his sons like that. I mean, if you look at his sons, all of his sons, all of them had issues with the law and stuff like that. I think three of them, two of them been in prison. Two of them been in prison. Like I said, one of them got into that, into drugs and stuff like that, and the other one was into the mob. But fast forward, because later on, I mean, have you ever, because Apostle's on that topic right now about the lineage, bloodline, and stuff like that. How the enemy infiltrate bloodlines and basically if one child or one son was in it. Was that what happened?
No.
Oh,
No,
okay.
we don't have to go. Go ahead.
Okay. One son get involved, it'll jump to the next generation and try those next generations. My brother, he didn't get involved, but he got into a lot of mischief, man. Went to juvie, then eventually he went to prison, but not for the mischievous stuff. But after I went to school and came back, he was locked up in juvie. So I mean, God moved on my heart, man, to start to try to like go and work with kids like that, and I did that for like 18 years, man. And when I listened to when I was listening to Jamal, man, yo, that stuff is real. What you talking about is real, man. Cause those kids, man, the stories that those kids had, man, was similar to some of the stuff that you was talking about, man. And I'm like, man, you're telling nothing about the truth, bro. But when you're looking at the whole picture of that gang life, in the beginning, the Crips and Blood were not. They weren't. When they started off, there were groups of young boys or young men who basically they protected their community not from other youth, but they were protecting the community from white folks.
Mm-hmm.
They would go like situations like if an old lady wanted errands done, they would go do errands for her. They would cut the grass. They would do a lot of stuff in the community and stuff like that. But when COINTELPRO and all of these other entities got involved and started to infiltrate the Black community, started to introduce drugs, started to introduce all this negativity, then what was a community building organization turned into turned into something that is basically has obliterated our communities, obliterated our youth to what we're dealing with right now. But if someone would sit these young men down and let them know how it all started,
Yeah.
and now whereas there are some of them are so entrenched in it and so deep in it, they feel that there's no way out, but they're not realizing that there is a way out. There's a way out that they can get out, and the reward from them getting out and turning back around and trying to get the other youth and trying to get them and turn them away from that lifestyle for from decimating our community. And the real reason why a lot of these young boys are going that route because they don't have a father in their home, man.
Yeah.
Bino said something that was so powerful because my my mother's brother, her brothers always has had connections with him, with that brother. But then one time that, my grandfather was looking, and they was trying to find out to see if he was alive or dead. So they always knew to go and where to go and find him. So when they went to go look for him, of course, his goons was hanging outside.
Just go.
Yeah. When I'm saying goons, didn't when he say, man, I want you to take this person out, they had to, but when they showed up, the goons was downstairs. They told them who they was looking for. His name was Slick. That's his, street name. They took him upstairs. Of course, I guess he did this because he didn't want his brothers to be like, get killed.
Mm.
Tell him, they said, listen, man, tell daddy and whatever, I love him, but if y'all come back around here again, I'm not gonna stop these guys from doing whatever they have to do.
Mm.
And that was the last time they saw him. That was the last time they saw him. Right now, you could be floating in the river, or already in the ground. My mom and my auntie them said they spot him, with this white chick, and I guess just one of these white chick was like his top girl, like a madam, He wound up marrying her, and they like kind of like took the Bob money and they bounced. And ever since then, they were looking for him.
Wow.
So that like you said, Jamal, it get to a point that stuff get old, man.
Yeah.
And you want to just have a life of normalcy, man. You're not, wanting to, you're not that person, because my mom them said, man, the way they talked to my uncle wasn't that type of person, but he was always a hustler, man. He was always a hustler. And the way they said, when he was young, the police chief would come and get him and pick him up, because he was like this type of person in the streets. Whatever the police, chief, information that he want. And he was always one that, like, I would say that people would say a snitch, but he would always like have the info. But the chief grew on him, man, and liked him. It's a white guy, man. Grew on him because he just had this skill and this talent to know how to talk and to hustle people, man.
Mm-hmm.
That he had that business savvy, man.
Yeah.
But small town. My auntie came and got him and took him up to New York, man. He went beast mode,
Yeah.
But a lot of that stuff you saying, bro. I mean, I've heard, but working with these kids, man, heard that.
Yeah. That's what I wanted. I wanted you, because when I first got introduced to you, you were the one who got promoted to the next position, right? I remember a long time ago in a men's meeting a while back, you were like, yeah, what you're talking about, you work with the kids, and then like a social worker or something like that.
Yeah.
Or something to that magnitude.
Juvenile officer. I work behavior specialist.
So yeah, man, like, working in that field, I know you ran into a lot of the young gangbangers coming through the place, and
Absolutely.
know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And I know you've probably had numerous conversations. What were some of the things that, when you had conversations with the guys that you come through, and then I know some guys that came through that you probably took a liking to, like you can really see their personality over the bravado. So what are some things that you would say to those guys?
I mean, Man, like the stuff that you're talking about right now. I would tell them the stories about my uncle. Family members. People who have got involved in that lifestyle, and told them like, it's a better choice that you could make. You don't have to. You don't have to do these things. You don't have to be out there selling drugs. You don't have to be out there busting your guns, and you don't have to do. It's a different life. Basically, man, I preach Jesus to him, man. You know,
Amen.
you know, I I'm not saying that I didn't sugarcoat it, but I preach Jesus to him, and and the craziest thing about it, and the stuff that we will always tell them, you know,
Now we ain't laughing at you, Alan.
what's up?
My guy said your voice is amazing for narration and storytelling.
Oh, okay. yeah, but it's just crazy. Like, they, when I would, when we would look at their lives, and it was our job, when I would say it was our duty, it was our goal to get these guys to like go back out and, to society and curve the numbers of them going to prison and those are getting, killed. I mean, we would hear some of the success stories, and we would hear those bad stories was the ones that went back out there and got back in trouble. Those went out there and got killed. And I mean, it's like maybe not even maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks, maybe a month. We hear a story of them getting killed. We have a story of them killing somebody. We hear a story of them going back to juvie. In one case, when I used to go minister in the prison. I was just sitting, in the in what they call it, in the where their church, whatever there was, and I saw the chapel. Yeah, when I saw the adults came in. Then I saw the young boys came in behind them. They had different, of course, they had different attire. And then I felt, they came and sat beside me, and the minister was up there ministering. And all of a sudden, I felt this tap on my shoulder, like this, tapping me on my shoulder. I looked around, and then I turned back around. He tapped me on my shoulder again. I said, "Do you know me?" He said, "Yeah, I know you. I know you." I said, "Yo, man, you Mr. Alfonso, right?" Like, how you know me? Hey, man, I used to be in your program when you used to work at the at the facility. And it's one of these kids, man. I used to tell him, I said, listen, this was my thing, man. I said, listen, man. I used to tell him, I said, even about how they're infiltrating the community, the black community, black boys, and filling these facilities up. You know what I'm saying? And y'all becoming the new modern day slaves. You know what I'm saying? And I said, man, y'all basically making money for the government in these private prisons. And I used to tell him all of that. Of course, he told me who his name was, and I faintly remember it.
Mhm.
But it was sad, man, because I didn't want to meet him like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to meet him like he didn't tell me, he didn't tell me that, but of course we couldn't have that kind of conversation with them. But yeah, man, that was just really mind blowing because like I used to go in those facilities and in the prison and preach. I used to do the same thing at the facility, man.
Mhm.
Telling them about the Lord, man. You know. But my thing was, man, you just can't, you couldn't save them all, bro.
Right.
You know, couldn't save them all.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Turn me up a little bit. I don't know why I sound like.
Because you was snoring.
I still was snoring. I non-stop snoring. What up, cousin?
What up, guys?
It's my guy right here, man. It's my guy, Lamont. What's up with you, baby? How you doing?
Peace.
I can't hear you.
I see all you guys looking good. Rico, long time.
What's happening?
I don't know, man. I guess like listening to you guys for the last couple minutes. I'm out working still, so I think some people join, for various reasons. Like Scoob said, I definitely wasn't a bad kid. I even lived totally different away from everybody. I ain't in the hood, nothing. But I had cousins that lived over there, and young cats was banging on my cousins. So that's how I got involved. But other than that, nobody even knew I exist. I wasn't no tough guy. I was even a deacon in church.
You was a deacon and then joined the game? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Nobody would have even knew.
Yeah.
But I guess me and Scoob talk now a lot because he done moved on with his life. I moved on with mine. And I think the scariest thing that Scoob ever told me was he's glad that I moved the way I did, because if we were ever around each other during the times where we were both out there running crazy, we'd have both been dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was like, he went from the hood, but he got in the game. Literally, he got in the gang. First gang he got in was with me. He got in the gang, literally said, because my cousin's in it. And he started fighting more people than everybody in the gang.
Right. Yeah.
Wow.
He was, you know how the new term with the its.
Mm-hmm.
He was with the its. Like, you know what I'm saying? And the thing about it, he was younger than all of us. He was the young boy out of all of us. Like, I think like his cousins, me, and everybody had, because he was in the initial very beginning. Like when I just recruited my boys that I hung with every day.
Right.
Like he was with that part.
Yeah.
But he stuck around a lot longer than everybody else, but he was always in and out though, because he lived like he said, he didn't even live in the hood. They lived out the way. So, but when he came to town, he was in town.
That's for real. If there was a smart way to be a gangbanger, that would be because you leave the hood. You come in and do whatever you know what I mean.
Yeah, like I said, I was telling them like, yeah, you weren't always a part of everything because you was in and out. But I said when you came to the town, you was in the town.
Right. I can hear you still. Like, you know what I mean? I only did it to protect friends,
Right.
family. It wasn't that I wanted to be no tough guy or any of that other stuff. Like my parents, we used to live in Part Town down in the West End. We moved out.
Yeah.
And so I always moved different. But when I turned like 19, I was like, why am I doing this? And by then, I had already had 5 kids.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Wow.
I joined the military.
That was the best thing, man. That military joint. That's what he told
20 years in the military. Like I was never gonna come back home.
Did you still in there, ain't you? Did you finally leave? Like the last time I talked to you, you said you was still on your last leg. You still in the military, ain't you?
I am. They haven't gave me my walking papers yet.
That's 20-something years.
Yeah.
So it's been 21 years.
Yeah.
Woo.
Wow.
And this one thing, like you asked me this question. I'm about to bounce it off you because it's in my questions. I was gonna do that at the end, but you had came in and infiltrated me.
Oh, my bad.
Man, me and you done had discussions about the same thing. What about our kids being in these? How you feel about one of your kids claiming the game?
About my kids being in a gang?
Like, how would you feel if one of your kids came and told you I'm gang?
That laugh, man, I'll punch him in the face.
Yeah, I'm about to bang on him. Because, like, granted, I teach my kids a little different. So, I grew up inner city, but I learned in my 20 years, you know, being here, there, other countries, going to war, coming back, and so school was the one that turned me back towards my faith when it was gone.
Amen.
So for me, my kids talking about banging, you don't even know what that is. Like, you ain't struggled, you ain't did nothing. You just here. And
Right.
so, like, all my kids don't believe in any of that stuff, don't condone any of it. Like, my kids just, they knew what I used to do, but they're like, why? You know what I mean? At least they telling me how to start a business or how to make more money legitly so I can write stuff off. We ain't got nothing to talk about.
Right.
And so that's where my kids' heads are. Like, I got an older knucklehead that likes scoops, caught a gun charge. So we end up fighting that, but I don't think that was more so on some gang stuff. It was just not being disciplined, being stupid, and just being a hothead. And a lot of these kids are hotheads nowadays. And it's not because some of them just don't have no direction. It's because a lot of them just want to fit in.
Yeah.
And it's terrifying how far they're willing to go to fit in.
Man.
What type of music are you listening to these days? Like, are you aware of how prevalent it is in the mute, like the Quando Rondos and all? Like, it's everywhere. Like,
I do.
What do you think about when you see that?
Like, I listen to, and it's crazy you say that. I never heard of Quando Rondo until my kids. But I listen to, YG, Joe Moses. I listen to a couple of them out there just to kind of, hear what my kids are listening to, because I ain't got any babies anymore. I got grandkids. So I got to make sure whatever they listen to, I just ask them, or is this the type of lifestyle you're interested in? And then if they tell me, yeah, I say, all right, fine. Listen, look at all your rappers that y'all talk about out here in the streets. Because the law figured out ways to get everybody a long time ago. They just hit you with racketeering charges and conspiracy charges. Granted, they ain't even got to prove all of it. They just got to know you was around it. And then they get the whole crew. And then everybody's going to turn on somebody to start snitching. At least I knew the dudes that I was around doing stuff with. And Scoop know my boy E. And I always roll with E. We were saying nothing. We would rather disappear out of the country than say anything. But these guys don't think like that. Everybody's just out for self.
Yeah.
Because if you're really out for your team, you guys put your money together, start businesses together, Show them how to invest. Show them how to get into this real estate market. All this other stuff. Encourage one of your friends to be a pastor, which would, you know, all of it helps because a lot of these kids are just misguided. Even the ones with at home. Oh,
Yeah, man. So, hey, man, look, I was,
back up to the car.
hey, this, I got an echo, but this how, like me and Lamont, I think our last conversation or one of the last conversations we had about, we were talking and we was talking about the gang stuff, and he hit me with some information I know, and it was so I got so weak in our lab because he was right. Like he talked about uh he talked about when we were in the gang, and I was telling him, like, man, I'm glad you got out and all that and how you doing, you so successful, and you know, just keep on. And we was talking about, he's like, yeah, you ain't even know I went to the other side. And I fought the guy that you, I fought the guy, and I said, huh, what? He said, yeah, what's that? And I fought the guy that you fought when I was on the other side with him. But yeah, man. Yeah, man, we was kids, man. He just, the maturity, it was laughable, though. The maturity, because like, I ain't care about, man, I don't care about that, did this. And then I went over there with them and did that, and I ain't care. Man, that's just way like we was kids, man. And it just,
You know what? I'm glad that Cincinnati ain't like California where y'all either gotta die to get out the gang or y'all gotta, it's something catastrophic that gotta happen to you. Like you might might have some, you know, whatever complications like initially, but for real in Cincinnati, if you like, I just quit. You probably can't go back on a block. You can't go back doing the things you used to do, which is fine because we ain't supposed to anyway. But I like I said, I used to always make fun because back in the day when y'all was gang banging, I was the one running around like ain't no gangs in Cincinnati, y'all perping. You know what I'm saying? But it was real. It was real stuff going down. Y'all was getting into for real trouble, for real crimes. But I'm like, man, that's California. Ain't no gangs out here. You know what I'm saying? But I always thought in my mind, like, man, whenever all my friends that was in gangs, I always had that in the back of my mind. Like, I'm glad that at least they don't gotta die to get out the gang out here.
Ridiculous. And hey, and that's the thing, man. I've heard so many things about myself that I didn't know. With this, that's what I'm saying. I'm 40-something years old, and I'm still hearing stuff about myself that I didn't know. I got put in a coma because this is what they say. I know why, but allegedly I got put in the coma because I switched sides. That's one.
Oh, for real.
I didn't hear that.
I got put in the coma because they took my rank.
Oh, you got beat out the game.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you got demoted.
Yeah, I got demoted.
Okay.
I got put in the coma because I got beat out the game.
Okay.
And I literally, it ain't even had nothing to do with the gang.
Tell the people why you got.
I got put in the gang because I was trying to steal somebody's car.
No, you got put out the coma.
Oh, how?
I mean, you got put in a coma because.
Yeah, I got put in the coma because I tried to steal somebody's vehicle.
Would you like to tell the story?
And I did not know how to drive.
Oh no, back up.
Nah, we ain't got to get detailed.
Why not? Why not?
What is you trying to make me like? I tried to steal somebody's car at the time.
What was happening? You were walking down the street.
Yeah, listen. I got put in the coma. I tried to steal somebody's car.
Why you don't want to share?
And I could not drive because everything ain't got to be said. I couldn't drive the car. I didn't know how to even move the gear shift. I jumped out the car like I can't drive it. I heard somebody yell, "Hey!" And I jumped out the car. And I ran, and like the people didn't take very kindly to me trying to steal their belongings. And needless to say, they got me together. and that's what happened. I was very mischievous, bad at that time. So, but it ain't had nothing to do with gang banging.
Right,
That
right,
was
right.
that situation wasn't.
No, I just thought the part that he left out. I just thought it was interesting that you was walking down the street and
Why you gotta put? Why
you saw a car running. So this is a teachable moment for anybody that leave a car running and walk away. Little Negroes like little Scooby. You know what I'm saying? Like I never thought. No, you know what? I full transparency. With a cartoon brain, I would have think like I could just steal that, but I would never do it.
I thought, you know, in your mind, when you're young, everything moves so quickly. So I might have stood there about maybe a full minute, 2 minutes, and thought, oh, ain't nobody coming to get in this car. They tripping. I'm about to take off.
Yeah.
Right? And in my mind, and in my mind, my mama car and I almost crashed that, but in my mind, it's like probably an hour in my head. There ain't nobody coming. They done left their car out here running. In my little brain, I jumped in their car and
they don't want it.
Oh, they don't want it. Yeah. And yeah, that's how that whole situation happened. So everybody out there in TV land.
And that was a serious thing, man. Like you could have died.
Yeah. Everybody they did me bad. They found me in the trunk. They did me bad.
Was you in the trunk of the car you tried to steal?
I don't know.
Oh yeah. Right.
Right. They did.
Lamont crazy.
all I know, they did me bad, but it was totally unrelated to gang affiliation or gang banging.
Right.
All the stuff that happened to me in gang banging, the worst thing and best thing that happened to me is gang banging was going to jail and finding Jesus. I found Jesus from gang banging. So I had the question: did gang banging leave any lasting effects on your life, positive or negative? Yes. Negatively, I went to jail, but positively, I had self-awareness. I learned that I had leadership qualities, and then the most positive thing that happened to me is I found my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. And do I regret gang banging? Yeah, I regret things that I've done being involved in the gang, like hurting numerous people that didn't have nothing to do with the gang banging stuff. Like we used to punch on drug addicts, and we used to call people out as victims on the school bus, and you know, even banging on other gang members that were the same age as me. We ain't know no better, like, and hurting them and shooting at them and doing stuff to them, like, you know what I'm saying? And those are the things that I regret, but what I do, the positive I get out of it is I learned some key things about myself, and I learned who God was. Amen. That's the most important part of this conversation. Amen. I was led to Christ Jesus in 1996 in the Department of Youth Services, and I backslid a couple times, but never as bad as bad as that. But I still had him, and I had. You talking about you getting the gang for protection? That was protection. That was a covering of my life because I had more bad to come, but it just wasn't in the gang area. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I had more other drug dealing, pimping, all that stuff coming later on. But as far as the gang activity, that was over with. And I like to tell anybody out there who's in a gang first off, I want to talk to the people of my generation. If you watching this, man, and you know me, man, and you still at our age still doing it, I know you got. I just would like to tell you that I want to ask you I want you to ask yourself, what does this really do for me at this age? Mm-hmm. And look at who you're affecting. If you my age, most likely at this age, and you got grown kids, you probably have grandchildren.
Yeah.
Do you want that for your children? Really? Do you want them to carry on a legacy of, and even if you're not a believer, do you want them to carry on the legacy of your hood, or carry on the legacy of your name,
Of your God.
of your God. I say even if you're not, yeah,
Oh yeah, right.
even if you're not believers, that's what
Right,
of
yeah,
your name. Because
right.
if
The
you
family, yeah.
if because if you're carrying the legacy of my name, you're carrying the legacy of my God as well.
Mhm.
So you might not believe in the God I believe in, or you might not believe in God at all. But what you do believe in is your whatever your pride is in, that's your family.
Yeah.
And would you want them to believe and go through the same things that you went through? So that's just one thing I want y'all to think about out there. That man is really one thing driven off emotions, driven off of being misled, no guidance, and I just think I feel bad for those my age that are still involved and still throwing up signs and still and still and indulging and encouraging that.
I mean, you know, not, I never was in the gang or nothing like that, but we all dealt with identity issues, and you don't, that ain't, you don't really grow out of needing to belong or have some type of foundation of who you are, what your purpose is, being connected to something that you think is powerful and strong. And I just want to say, what I'm saying, I think we all went through it in different ways. Today's topic is on gang culture, what I'm saying? But um and like I said, I wasn't a part of that. But what I'm saying, I can say that I, even until I for real surrendered and started allowing God to change my heart and change my mind, I still didn't know my identity. I still, what I'm saying, like, so it's a common thing. It just manifests in different ways with different people for different circumstances. For who knows? I might had I lived in an environment where, let's say I lived in California, and it's a bit different when you live in a situation to where it's almost like you got to choose, because this your whole neighborhood, all your friends is blue, all the other blocks is red. They gonna jump on you regardless. It's almost like, dang, like, so I empathize. But what I just want to say, man, is your identity, your peace, your joy, your completion is found in Christ Jesus. Surrender. There is a better place. There's a better hope. There's joy. There's peace. There's freedom for you. Your true identity. Nothing in this world can give you your true identity except your creator. The designer gets to decide the design. So that's just universal, man. Like, we all are looking for that piece that's missing, that piece that's, what I'm saying, that make us complete. And all of this worldly, uh, uh, temporary things is gonna pass away. It ain't gonna last forever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. That was powerful. And before we leave off of this thing, I just would like to add that yeah, man, like he said, there's many different ways that this identity thing manifests.
Mm-hmm.
So, really soon, part two to this is serious. Part two to this story is I used to be Nino Brown.
Mm. Wow.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that. If any of y'all know who Nino Brown was, he was a drug kingpin in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I had these Nino Brown fantasies, and it's all according to identity and knowing who you are.
Yeah.
And I know who I am in God today. Today, this it's a couple more people that were really eager to come in, and because of the beginning stages of probably what happened in the beginning, we had some some audio technical difficulties.
Yeah, catch us on the replay. I'm gonna cut it out.
Yeah. I'm sorry you couldn't make it in. You know, they probably wanted to come in and then had time to think about, like, I don't know if I really want to go in and talk about that.
Yeah, I don't know why we here with it.
But that ain't nothing but the enemy. But still in all, I appreciate you, Lamont. Thanks for coming on in here. Brother Allen, thank you for coming in today.
Yeah.
And Darrell, thank you for coming in. Well,
Great Bambino.
The great, Beans. Everybody came in and spreaded some love, some hope, some wisdom. Appreciate y'all for coming in today. I used to be Quando Rondo, but I ain't no more. I'm saved by the Lord Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
And you know, I got a scripture I want to share with y'all. It's an identity-based scripture. First Peter chapter 2, verses 9. But you are a chosen race, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a people for his own possession, that you may proclaim the excellencies of him who called you out of the darkness into the marvelous light. And with that being said, he called you out to a marvelous light. Those of y'all that's watching, some of y'all quiet, but I know y'all watching. Y'all ain't had nothing to say, but I know you listening. I know y'all know who I was, and I know y'all see who I am today. If y'all feel like y'all see something and y'all like, Dad, this guy's really sincere, he's really changed, I believe him, I want to tell you I got that sauce from God. So this is a call to salvation. A call to salvation. Romans chapter 10, verses 8 through 11. But what does it say? The word is near you, in your mouth and in your heart. That is the word of faith that we proclaim. Because if you confess with your mouth that Jesus is Lord and you believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you will be saved. For with the heart one believes and is justified, and with the mouth one confesses and is saved. For the scripture said, for everyone that believes in him will not be put to shame. Don't be ashamed. If you believe in God, don't be ashamed, because he ain't going to put you to shame. Lower yourself in the sight of the Lord, and he will exalt you. So we just like to thank God for what he's done for us. So
stop texting and driving, Nia.
So we just like to thank God and say, if you follow this prayer, God, I believe that your son died on the cross for my salvation. That he promised by laying down his life that all my burdens have been picked up, and I have been connected back into the lineage and the priesthood, the royal priesthood, that if I believe in his name, that all this is true. And I believe this, and I confess with my mouth and believe in my heart. If you've prayed any prayer like that, you have now been grafted into the unit. Welcome to Life Row.
Welcome to the kingdom.
We love you.
Welcome to Life Row.
You know what I'm saying? God unit.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, we thank y'all for tuning in. Follow us on all our social media sites, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at Crown of Glory 360. YouVersion Bible app. Make sure you tap into the YouVersion Bible app. That's YouVersion, one word. Make sure you tap that in. If you got an Android or an iPhone, it's a free Bible app. Download it. Make you a profile. Add you in. You'll be a part of our Bible plan immediately. We'll let you know we're doing the book of Job right now. It's a review and a study of the book of Job, because that's on most shows. That's what we're doing on Kingdom Culture and on Crown of Glory 360 podcast. We're doing the story of the book of Job right now. So that's what we're doing. And you know, make sure you just type in YouVersion Bible app, Crown of Glory 360, all words separated, Crown of Glory 360. Then make sure you also email us if you want to talk about this subject. Email me. Say, Scoob, I got a testimony. I want to tell you about how I feel. This is how I feel. Or you got a prayer request. crownofglory360@gmail.com. Make sure you email us. Also, YouTubers, YouTube.com/Crown of Glory 360. Like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell where you could be notified anytime we drop content. And that's every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time where we do Kingdom Culture. That's an open panel where we get busy. We're doing the Book of Job right now. I don't know what the subject going to be on this week, but Rico always got something dope.
We finishing up, Job. That's all.
Also,
The finale.
Fridays like today, Push the Rock podcast, where I come on and we just push the rock, pushing the revelation of Christ's kingdom, talking about things coming from my standpoint, but it's also God's standpoint. And so we're going to do it like that. And then Saturday, tomorrow, make sure y'all tune in while we finishing up this review of the Book of Job. It's big, y'all. We're going off the logos at the Bible, reading about Job, getting the understanding of Job and God's character. So make sure you tune in at tomorrow, Saturday, 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you know we come to do what Jesus do all the time. Spread love. That's the blessed way. That's the Yahweh. Peace. Come push the rock.
Anyone comes to me and put anything or anybody before me in any capacity, that's your child, that's your mama, that's your wife, that's your friend, that's yourself. If you put you before him, you can't be my disciple. I need you absolutely surrender to me because I got something for you. I put a deposit in you, and I need my
ROI.
Yeah.
For this reason, since the day we heard about it, we have not stopped praying for you, asking specifically that you may be filled with the knowledge of his will and all spiritual wisdom, with insight into his purposes and to understanding of spiritual things, so that you will walk in a manner worthy of the Lord, displaying admirable character, moral courage, and personal integrity, to fully please him in all things, bearing fruit in every good work, steadily growing in the knowledge of God, with deeper faith, clear insight, and fervent love for his precepts. We pray that you may be strengthened and invigorated with all power, according to his glorious might, to attain every kind of endurance and patience with joy, giving thanks to the Father, who has qualified us to share in the inheritance of the saints in the Lord. Amen. Love y'all.
There's 2 point of views that's needed in that, in the marriage aspect. You know, those who have this.
Leave the sound effects in me, bro. Don't make me mute your mic.
But yeah, with those 2 point of views, man, before you get married, it's important that you set a foundation, and there has to be a foundation of will.
Well, we just trust in you, and we thank you. And no matter what situations, no matter what it looks like, what it may feel like, your word stands taller than everything. So we just want to just give you praise, thank you, and give you honor and glory, knowing that your promises are indeed 100%, 1 billion%, 1 trillion% true indeed. And we thank you, Lord, in the name of Jesus.
Amen.